Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we're back with Sejarah. This is still our continuation of 2.3, where we're talking about nasionalisme di Asia, perkembangan nasionalisme di Asia. Now, before we run through, we're gonna give a quick run through about what kinds of nationalism exist. We talked about how there were three types: penjajahan, which was caused in India, then all about the pemerintahan raja, which caused in countries China and Japan, and finally we also talked about once about mempertahankan agama Islam, which happened all over in Mesir, Egypt, and Empire Uthmaniyah with their gerakan Islah. Yes, gerakan Islah. Now we're not going to talk about the Islam part yet. We're going to move on because we already talked about India, which is a pass-by. It's not that important. I'd argue the next two, China and Japan, a lot more important. So listen up here. Nasionalisme di China dan Japan. First of all, they're all revolving around their system Raja, but these two represent opposite sides of coin. Where in China it happened because of a lot of negative things happening from the king. Meanwhile, in Japan it was opposite. The king was the leader of their nationalism. So let's start, okay? Let's talk about China first. Nationalism di China. Bertujuannya, what happened? Who was PMO? The rakyat. Why? Bertujuannya, the nationalism di China, bertujuannya mengukuhkan peradaban China to strengthen the adaban means like the 文化 all over in China daripada ancaman penguasaan pihak politik dan ekonomi kuasa asing, to protect their country, mempertahankan ataupun mengukuhkan peradaban China daripada ancaman the attack of penguasaan politik from the political standpoint and the economic standpoint from other powers, other countries, kuasa asing. Now, what happened exactly? Well, we can understand. Penentangan terhadap kelemahan pemerintahan dynasty Manchu. Over here, that's your first keyword here, dynasty Manchu. Okay, penentangan terhadap kelemahan means that dynasty Manchu, was this a good dynasty? No, amat lemah, the opposite of kuat, right? It was very, very weak. What is going on here? Very, very weak. So, penentangan means they were going against, they were fighting against. Now, kerana dianggap sebagai orang luar dan kehilangan mandat, because to the rakyat, dynasty Manchu dianggap orang luar, as if the people ruling over here, the government system, where we specifically only say the word dynasty Manchu, dianggap seperti orang luar, an outsider, and kehilangan mandat. You're losing the 天命. That means the strength, the 力量, the strength that has been given by God. 上天给的天力. Why? Why do people feel like this? Well, because masyarakat Cina. Notice the keyword here. We don't say rakyat for now. We say masyarakat Cina. So masyarakat, they don't hold hands. Masyarakat Cina hilang kepercayaan. They're losing their belief. They're losing their trust and faith in dynasty Manchu yang gagal, that has failed to menghalang kemasukan pengaruh Barat. So now you know why dynasty Manchu dianggap sebagai orang luar lah, kehilangan mandat. Why? Why was there penentangan in the first place? Why was it so lemah? Because dynasty Manchu failed to gagal menghalang. Menghalang means to stop kemasukan pengaruh Barat. Let me draw a Barat symbol over here. Barat, the Westerners. Thus, what happened was terdapatnya gerakan bercorak anti-Barat, anti-Westerners, anti-Barat, untuk menentang campur tangan Barat di China. They were trying to stop all of the manipulation, mencampur tangan kuasa Barat. They were putting their hands all over in the power system in dynasty Manchu, specifically here we say China. They were trying to stop that with their gerakan anti-Barat. Okay, we don't like the Barat people. Alright, so this is the four, I would say, factors, right? So again, one more time, mengukuhkan peradaban China daripada ancaman penguasaan politik dan ekonomi daripada siapa? Kuasa asing. Then you go on to say, penentangan terhadap kelemahan dynasty Manchu, pemerintahan dynasty Manchu, dianggap sebagai orang luar dan kehilangan mandat. So, wujudnya masyarakat Cina hilang kepercayaan, they're losing their trust, yang hilang kepercayaan dinasti Manchu yang gagal menghalang kemasukan kuasa British, kuasa Barat, not British, pengaruh Barat. Thus, gerakan bercorak anti-Barat we can say diwujudkan in textbook. They say seterusnya they just have it. Gerakan bercorak anti-Barat kerana menentang campur tangan kuasa Barat di China. So, what were the things that happened? So we talked about all of this, right? Now we're going to go into their gerakan bercorak anti-Barat, which is their gerakan nasionalisme. Okay, it's going full circle. A full circle here. Gerakan nasionalisme apapun perkembangan nasionalisme, permulaannya on the early ages, it started with menentang kelemahan dinasti Manchu, pemerintahan dinasti Manchu. And we repeat the same facts. Dianggaplah orang luar, kehilangan mandat, rakyat hilang kepercayaan. It's the same facts being washed over all over again. Here's a new thing. We're gonna jelaskan about your gerakan anti-Barat. Okay, jelaskan. So, dipelopori, who was it influenced by? Who was the one really in charge of making this movement happen? Dipelopori, that's the word. A dude we call Dr. Sun Yat-sen, Sun Zhongshan. Okay, Sun Yat-sen, that's his name. And beliau, right, we call him, yes. Beliau mengemukakan 3 prinsip rakyat. Sanmingzuyi, okay? Sanmingzuyi, I think they give you in brackets Sanmingzuyi. You can call it 主义 lah. So, sebagai ideologi sebagai ideologi perjuangan iaitu nasionalisme, kebajikan sosial dan demokrasi. Okay, kebajikan sosial, the social welfare. That means the welfare, the well-being of the people. Then we talked about what? Nasionalisme. Remember the perasaan cinta yang mendalam terhadap negara dan bangsa. Okay? Then demokrasi. That means they're trying to live a democratic life where the king, tidak berkuasa mutlak. We talked all about this in the previous countries about nationalism. So, menjadikan asas gerakan revolusi Cina. Okay? So this is your lad here, Dr. Sun Yat-sen, very legendary guy. So now we move on. We're talking about the kejayaan. So all this happened. What were the things that happened we got to achieve? Well, Revolusi Cina berjaya menumbangkan. Menumbangkan means to contribute. Oh no, menumbangkan means to wrong word. I was thinking of yumbang. See, menumbangkan here is to 推翻. That means to overthrow in this case. Get rid of dynasty Manchu. Alright, dan kemunculannya republic. That means what? Republic di China. That's why right now we call China a Republic of China. There is no king of China anymore, no empire, no dynasties. Alright, so giving it a few run through. It's all about how kelemahan dynasty Manchu, okay, masyarakat China kehilangan kepercayaan. Hilang kepercayaan kerana dynasty Manchu gagal menghalang kemasukan kuasa Barat, pengaruh Barat. Dan mereka berapa? Rakyat. This is where they use the word rakyat, right? Do they? Yeah. Mereka hilang kepercayaan. Okay, penentangan. Why was it called kelemahan dynasty Manchu, pemerintahan dynasty Manchu? It was because, number 1, mereka kehilangan mandat, dianggap sebagai orang luar. That's how they describe dynasty Manchu. Then we had our leader here for our gerakan anti-Barat, dipelopori oleh Dr. Sun Yat-sen, Sun Zhongshan, and dia menekankan, or you can say in textbook, mengemukakan prinsip tiga prinsip rakyat. 3 prinsip rakyat, sanmingzuyi, kebajikan sosial, nasionalisme, dan akhir sekali demokrasi. Thus, menjadikan asas gerakan nasionalisme China. And of course, they formed a republic. So that is all about China. But now we're going to move on, alright? It's a brief through. It's a lot shorter than what's happening with India. So now let's go all the way to Japan, shall we? So, Japan is the opposite. For China, it was the people were getting mad because of their king. because of the king, right? The king. But now we're talking about the opposite side, where it's people finding their king to be the one to memupuk the king, being like, hey, we should love our negara dan bangsa more. So let's talk about the positive side of it, right? So looking over to the next page, which is page 27 di sini. Okay, first we perlu tahu apakah faktor sebabnya tercetus nasionalisme di Jepun. Well, for this one, we usually say someone is PMO, right? For this one, it's a little bit different. See, nasionalisme di Jepun telah digerakkan oleh pemerintah Jepun. It was led by their leaders themselves. Disebabkan oleh kesedaran untuk mencapai kemajuan, because the awareness they had to fight, to mencapai, to reach dia punya kemajuan, dia punya modernization, dia punya evolution, bagi mengelakkan ancaman imperialisme barat, to avoid the attacking of the barat imperialisme. Okay, it's always coming to a circle about pengaruh barat. So you can think of it in this case where China, they were already controlled, already influenced by the barat. Thus Jepun, dia punya pemerintah Jepun, were trying to avoid this from happening by having their nationalism. So then we have a key character here, Maharaja Mikado Meiji. Maharaja Mikado Meiji. Okay, melancarkan gerakan pemulihan Jepun, the restoration of Japan, ataupun you can kenal as pemulihan Meiji, named after him. So baginda menekankan pemodenan mengikut model barat. So Maharaja Mikado, it says full name, yes, Maharaja Mikado Meiji, he was talking about emphasizing about pemodenan, modernization, mengikut model barat. That means the barat people do have their points about their modernization, but they were trying to do this for their own country instead of waiting for the barat to colonize them. So supaya Jepun dihormati oleh kuasa barat, so that the people on barat will not try and take over their country, but in fact respect Jepun. Okay, dihormati. Alright. Then we talk about dia punya perkembangan nasionalisme. That is their sebab, right? Perkembangan, what happened? Well, pemulihan Jepun ataupun pemulihan Meiji meliputi gerakan pembaharuan dalam semua aspek kehidupan. Meaning, this punya restoration caused a lot of new changes, new movements, alright, in all aspects of their lives. Number one, Jepun muncul sebagai negara perindustrian. Alright, previously we learned about revolusi industri all the way about from 3, and it was all about in the barat countries, like on the western side. So Jepun was now becoming a negara perindustrian. So lepas itu, Jepun pula menjadi kuasa tentera yang kuat di Asia, a very strong military system. So that's the first one, right? Perindustrian. This is my kilang for perindustrian. Then your tentera. Let's give a man holding a gun. There you go. Tentera, okay? Menjadi kuasa tentera yang kuat di Asia. Now they don't tell you why in the textbook, but I can tell you why. It's because Japan, they challenged Russia, and they managed to attack and win. That really settled the score, because Russia was known to be a very strong country, but they lost towards a little island in Asia. That's why they have this title here. And the third one, menjadikan Jepun merupakan sebagai kuasa imperialis. I won't write the full thing, kuasa imperialis di Asia, disebabkan oleh desakan ekonomi dan nasionalisme melampau. Melampau means it's going up and beyond, the uprisings. Alright, the nationalism in Japan is going crazy, spreading like wildfire. Okay, so finally, we will also know that prinsip dan semangat Bushido. This is a special thing. I'm gonna get rid of this real quick. Semangat Bushido, right? This one important. Bushido, semangat Bushido. Okay. Dijadikan asas membina nasionalisme dalam kalangan rakyat pemerintah semasa era pemulihan Meiji. Okay? So, what were the things? What was the concept of semangat Bushido? Well, number one, semangat Bushido iaitu sikap sanggup menanggung risiko. You are willing to accept, to overtake, to to face dia punya risiko. Number two, bersungguh-sungguh mencapai cita-cita. You are willing to fight, you are willing to achieve your punya goals, cita-cita. Then number three, sedia berkorban. You are willing to sacrifice demi melaksanakan tanggungjawab terhadap ketua dan negara. Ketua dan negara, it's all about nationalism. You're willing to sacrifice yourself, berkorban demi melaksanakan, to fulfill you punya tanggungjawab, your responsibilities terhadap ketua dan negara. And finally, dijadikan what I said before, asas membina nasionalisme dalam kalangan rakyat dan pemerintah. Okay? I believe they give it to you on the side over here. On the small corner glossary, they have it over there. So that's where the points come from. You have technically 4 in total. So they're all going, yaitu sikap sanggup menanggung risiko. So bersungguh-sungguh mencapai cita-cita. Then sedia berkorban demi melaksanakan tanggungjawab terhadap ketua dan negara. Then finally menjadikan asas membina nationalism. Okay, it's always coming back to nationalism. And that's it. So to give a small recap again, for Japan, they saw what happened in China. They were like, oh, we do not want that to happen to us. So pemerintah Japan decided, hey, we need to stop this. Mereka mempunyai kesedaran, awareness untuk mencapai kemajuan bagi mengelakkan ancaman imperialis barat. Maharaja Mikado Meiji, which if you want to remember, right, Maharaja Mikado Meiji, there's a chocolate brand out there, Meiji, named after him. Maharaja Mikado Meiji melancarkan gerakan apa? Gerakan pemulihan Jepun, or otherwise known as the Meiji Restoration, pemulihan Meiji. Alright, menekankan pemodernan mengikut model barat. Right, still we're trying to not be colonized by the barat by being modern ourselves. And they give you why though? Oh, Jepun menjadikan negara perindustrian, okay, menjadi kuasa tentera yang kuat di Asia sebab they won over Russia, dan menjadikan negara Jepun kuasa imperialis di Asia. Okay? Then we talk about semangat Bushido, and that's the end of nationalism in China and Japan. Okay? That's the entire recap. So now we have jelaskan about China and Japan, meaning we're only left with one part left for 2.3, which is your agama. Agama what? Mempertahankan agama Islam. Happened in Mesir and Empire Uthmaniyah. So I will see you for that next part. Bye bye.